Hello, Winternet. Welcome to Movie Time with Paul and Dave. I'm your host, Dave, and joining me as always is my good friend, Paul.
Hello, David.
Hello, Paul. You know what was a really good movie, Paul?
Star Wars?
Yes. You know what else was a really good movie?
Nice Guys?
It was. I'm glad that we stopped that bit after just one movie. The Nice Guys, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So why don't you kick us off, Paul, with a little, why don't you give us a little summary, a little synopsis?
Well, speaking of Star Wars, that actually came out in 1977. And if you Google that year, it seems like the entire country spent the entire time getting in line to see Star Wars and then going to see it again. But if you believe the movie Nice Guys, which is set in 1977, apparently the porn industry, ideological revolutions, and large-scale corruption were largely unfazed by the introduction of the lightsaber. So, in this movie, we have a chubby Russell Crowe, who's a hired goon, and the never not handsome Ryan Gosling, who's a private investigator. And their paths cross when Crowe's Healy is paid to shake Gosling's march off the trail of his client, Amelia. So Amelia is actually wrapped up in the murder of a porn star, Misty Mountains. And these two screw-ups are forced to team up for hijinks and solve a mystery under the supervision of a 10-year-old girl.
Fantastic. And now that you've had that boring summary, I'm going to tell you some interesting things that are interesting about The Nice Guys.
Do it.
Did you know that project was originally supposed to be a TV series, but they could never get the pilot off the ground. It was stuck in development hell, so it ended up getting made into a movie instead.
I'm not sorry we have a movie, but a TV series would have been awesome.
It could have been awesome,
Could have
anyways, depending who did it, what network you're on. There's all kinds of Easter eggs scattered throughout this movie. One of my favorite, I used to watch The Rockford Files pretty much every day with my dad. And Ryan Gosling's terrible detective ad with his picture of his head and his little thing is an almost exact copy of Jim Rockford's ad, Yellow Pages ad.
Awesome.
Jim Rockford also keeps his gun in the cookie jar, just like Ryan Gosling's character.
Spoiler alert.
Yep. That's not really a spoiler. It also happens in like the first 5 minutes of the movie. In the elevator scene, when they're going up the elevator in the hotel, the music that's playing is the exact same music that is played in the elevator scene in the Blues Brothers when they're going to the tax assessor's
I noticed
office.
that.
What else have we got here? I'm looking at my list. Oh, yes. The scene where Russell Crowe is learning the new word equanimity. Spoiler alert, everybody. Russell Crowe learns a word. Is an almost exact copy of a scene from an Asian American movie called Better Luck Tomorrow, which is kind of this crime heisty type movie, where one of the main characters is standing by a fish tank with his word of the day character card, learning the word equanimity, exact same word, pretty much exact same scene. In the opening monologue, I can't remember which character.
It's probably Ryan's because he was shaving in his car.
Yeah, where he's talking about how society's falling apart now. Well, because Russell Crowe also is the one about kid. Is he the one that does the kids know too much nowadays?
Yeah, but that's out of school.
Yeah, that's true. So, anyways, on a marquee you can see in a pornographic theater, the porno movie that's being shown is Bang Bang Kiss Kiss, which is of course a play on director Shane Black's earlier movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Excellent movie.
Which is an excellent movie. That was Robert Downey Jr. was in that, wasn't he?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
Also, we shouldn't have porn theaters next to schools. I think even in the 70s they didn't do that.
Well, I don't think that happened.
Okay.
And then speaking of Shane Black, if you watch a lot of his movies like Iron Man 3 or Lethal Weapon 4, or he's got a ton of them, they almost all feature a scene near the end of the movie that takes place during Christmas. This one's no exception. He always works in a Christmas time.
So this could replace Die Hard as my favorite Christmas movie.
It could not.
Oh, okay.
Just fun fact, throw that out there. That's heretical even to say. Yeah, and there's not really an Easter egg, but I just thought it's kind of a cool coincidence thing that's true. Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe both dropped out of high school to pursue acting careers, and worked out pretty well for both of them. So, hey.
Stay out of school, kids.
Yeah, free advice to you. School hasn't gotten me anything. And dropping out worked out really well for Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. So apparently I made the wrong choice. Thanks. Counselor Mr. Anderson, for your terrible advice. So there you go. Do you feel informed and entertained now, Paul?
Both informed and entertained. Absolutely.
Fantastic. That's what I was going for. So time to get into a little bit of the nuts and bolts of what you actually thought of the movie. What did you think was a good job they did, and what did you think was maybe not so much?
Well, for starting with places that could be improved, really the only thing on screen that was even slightly bumpy for me was Kim Basinger. Her performance was a little bit stale, maybe not completely believable in either role.
Would you say wooden?
I would say wooden, yes. And normally she's great, but for some reason in this she had no energy, and it kind of sucked the energy out of the room whenever she was on the screen. But honestly, the worst thing about this movie is that more people didn't go see it. I think that there honestly should be an internet rule that if you want to complain about reboots or sequels or anything like that, that you have to have seen Nice Guys before you are allowed to complain. Just kind of like...
It's like how you can't complain about governments unless you go out and
That's
vote.
right. It's the exact same thing. Until you've shown me your slip from seeing Nice Guys, you can't complain about reboots and sequels.
You know what? You're kind of joking, but it's also very true that you see and read all these complaints about people as like remaking Ghostbusters or whatever. Pick any of the hundreds of terrible remakes that have been heard.
Right.
But nobody's going to see. Here's a great movie with great actors and an original story, and it's funny, and it has, stuff that makes you think, and some good action scenes, and people didn't see it. It's here. I actually wrote this down because I knew it. It only made $11 million its opening weekend. It grossed $36.5 million on a $50 million budget.
That's terrible.
And I don't know what else. I think maybe this movie will do better in video and Netflixy kind of things. I could see it.
I hope so.
With some longevity.
That's why we're doing this.
But yeah, I don't know what to tell you people. You're the reason that we're getting Ben-Hur and not...
And Transformers 5.
Yeah, and not a new Guy Ritchie awesome crime movie.
Shame on you.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you about Kim Basinger. I thought I did not buy her in this movie at all. It's like it felt like she was going through the numbers or phoning it in. Like I just didn't get it.
Yep.
But every other character, the acting is fantastic. The characters are great. There's such chemistry between them. They do such a good job of. They're very different characters, but they complement each other very well. I'm talking Gosling and Crowe specifically.
Right.
And what's her name who plays the 10-year-old?
Yeah, Andrew Rice.
Right.
Who's going to be in Spider-Man Homecoming upcoming. She was amazing.
A perfect foil for both of them.
Absolutely.
Both of their characters work with hers, and she really serves very well to kind of shine a light on both their characters and show kind of the good and bad of both of their personalities.
Right. And she's the adult in the room without making her character not believable as a kid. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
She's great.
The writing in this movie and the acting, I don't know how many times I can say it. It's incredible. The writing is as good as I've seen in years and years.
Yeah, and the balance between being a comedy and being an action mystery, they found just a perfect balance. It wasn't jokey, and it wasn't just an action sequence. They found an amazing balance.
So with all that being said, I think our feelings about these movies pretty clear. But time for us to get an actual rating using our patented scale of how you should watch this movie. So, for example, a bad movie, you'd maybe be like, you should maybe watch this while you're doing laundry or dishes or something. Fantastic movie. You should be, there opening night, waiting midnight the day before to buy a ticket ahead of time. Paul, how would you recommend watching this movie?
I give this movie a solid see it in theaters, but we've already waited too long for that. It's too late for you to go see it in theaters. So I will give it a rent it and pay attention, damn it.
I give this movie a solid... you should see it in the opening 1 or 2 weeks in theaters. But again, you blew that, didn't you? So I think you should see this movie while looking at yourself in the mirror and, thinking about what you did when you didn't go see it. Maybe just swish that around your mouth. How's that taste? Does it taste like failure? Because it should.
See it with a cup of shame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, That's all the time we have this week for Movie Time. I am David.
And I'm Paul.
And this is Fractal signing off.